As soon as I saw this makeup, I knew I just had to do it. Like, it's the perfect glam, and I want to show you how you can do it in real life. This is the perfect palette for this look. It has everything I need, pinks and browns. I started with the NARS Creamy Concealer as my base. It's a really good primer if you're going to be using a lot of eyeshadow. Then I just put the medium brown all over my lid and just buffed it out really gently. Then I went in with the really pale pink, put that on my brow bone mostly, and all over the rest of the lid as well, just so it's nice and milky and smooth and creamy. Then I used a really pale pink blush with a blue undertone, and I'm working that through the crease of my brow because I really want that pink tint that the doll has. It's important not to be too heavy-handed, like really be gentle and work your way up so it's nice and soft, the way that a doll's makeup is. Then I'm taking the darkest brown and I'm working that through the crease to really emphasize the crease. A really flat shader brush is perfect for this. And then I'm blending that out with the medium brown, just so again, it's a bit softer and more sculpted and not super, super harsh. For some sparkle, I'm using this sparkle from the Judy doll palette, and I got this DANESSA MYRICKS like chrome metal applicator thing. It's so good. I'm usually very pro finger, but this is a really nice way to apply your glitters without it being messy. Then you need the tiniest liner brush you can get for as much control as possible. You want this to look like a painted doll or printed. I don't know how dolls are made. Do a wing and get right into the inner corner. Then switch over to a black pencil liner and join your lower lash line with the wing, but you're only lining into the middle of your eye, not the full way. And then you want to blend that out with a brush so it's a wee bit smokier, and you can also connect it to the wing this way as well. It's also important to note that there was nothing on this brush. It was just completely clean, so I'm literally just blending the actual black liner into the wing. Then for the inner corner, she has a warm brown, so I'm taking this brown lip liner that I love wearing as an eyeliner anyway, and just putting that into the inner corner and blending that in with the black. And ever since I did this, I have been doing it every day in my makeup ever since. It is so nice. It's such a nice way to wear your waterline. The shape of the eyes on a bratz doll is so important. That includes the lashes, so make sure you really curl them. I forgot to include it, but do loads of mascara. Then I'm using these TATTI lashes. I'm using one long one and one short one. I'm basically creating like a cat eye and just placing that onto the outer corner of each eye so it's really feline. And then put some mascara on the lower lash, but only on the outer half. Then I want more twinkle, so I'm adding liquid glitter and I'm putting that onto the inner corner just so it is a bit more eye-catching. And then, super important, really snatched, I'm taking the same concealer that I used as my base and I'm using that to highlight and also sculpt and shape the eye, around the eye area, so it's really, really lifted and bright and dramatic and doll-like. Let's go on to the base. I'm going to be underpainting. The top tip here is to put that makeup on. I'm using a bright pink blush. I love this NYX blush. And I knew it would be perfect when I mix in my foundation because I want this to be all soft and blushy and very, very flowy. And then I'm taking my foundation. I'm using a medium coverage foundation, which I obviously don't really ever do. But I love this foundation, and B, it's perfect for the bratz look. It's kind of a non-optional, and mixed with the blush underneath it becomes this really soft pink color. Then I'm taking my contour and I'm putting that right in the middle of my cheekbones and blending that out. And then I want my cheeks to look really, really sculpted and really, really sexy and feline and just perfect, like a bratz. Now you need a lot of powder. The skin needs to look airbrush. It needs to look fake. It needs to look plastic, basically. And I'm taking my Huda Beauty Sugar Cookie palette because I just love how like blurring and softening this powder is. Take it all over everything, so it's just super, super matte. Then you need a bright pink powder blush on top, and this is our second blush that we'll be using, so I'm kind of like building it up because the cheeks are really a focal point. Then I'm using this really pale pink blush to highlight and also add more dimension, add more depth, add more brightness to the cheeks, so it's really soft. I'm going back in and putting some powder through my brows so they're not shiny, because I feel like that's not very bratz. Arguably the best part is the bratz lip combo. I'm using a shade really close to my actual lip colour, and I'm creating that really bratz shape, so very top heavy, very bottom heavy in the centre, and the sides are a little bit more tapered. You want this to basically be like a heart. They're obviously like really over exaggerated and large, so I really want to encapsulate that but also make it wearable, so I am overlining, but like not to an insane extent. Then I'm taking a more pinky liner and I'm just like retracing my steps. I just wanted it to be a bit more like girly and dolly, and I think that this shade of pink is perfect for that, and it mixes really well with what I have created as my natural lip color slash shape. I actually spent like a lot of time doing this because I feel like this step is so integral to the whole look, so you don't want to like do this in a rush or anything. You want it to be as bratz like and as perfect and as exact as possible, basically. Then I'm using my NARS concealer again in the center of my lips and blending that out for like a really pale lip so that I can put the pink on top. I wanted it to be powdery and soft and blurry like a doll. I'm using the same blush on the cheeks. I like to keep everything cohesive because that is what we're doing. The reference picture is the reference. So I want it to be like that. Soft, blurry, pink. She has like a pink sparkly kind of gloss on, so I'm using this ABH one. It isn't purple, it's just like really sparkly, so taking that on all over. But I'm not doing the actual lip line. You kind of want the lip line to still be defined like the way that she has. Again, another perfect finishing touch is to taper the lips with your concealer and make sure that it's really perfected. Another mandatory finishing touch is the beauty mark. And there we have the finished look. That is your wearable bratz makeup. You can do it too. It feels incredible.